Hi there, this is our second class on argument structure and theta role assignment. The reason why we're having a second class on argument structure and theta role assignment is basically that we introduced the topic last class and we would like to further specify a number of things that we think are important to develop for a more thorough understanding of what we mean by argument structure and theta role assignment. So what we said last class is that there are three levels of analysis, or there are three layers of analysis when we talk about language. There's the LF component, or logical form. There is the semantic component. There is this idea that we have meaning on our minds, and that there is an output component, that is the PF component, the phonological form, that is the level of the utterance, and that the syntax will be somewhat in the middle, manipulating logical form and molding logical form, the input, into phonological form, the output. So we get the three levels: logical form, syntax, phonological form, where syntax is called or known as the interface level because it is the level where the raw material, let us use that metaphor, the semantic content is given form so that it can have an output, it can be uttered in a specific way. That's what we call phonological form. And it's important to clarify that by phonological form we mean both phonology, uttering, and writing. That is, either mode will be okay, right? That is pronouncing or writing. So in analyzing logical form, or the semantic component of the sentence, or what is more typically known as the proposition, we said that our propositions are made up of, or consist of, basically two elements: predicators and arguments. And we made reference to the sentence "I like tennis," and we said that in "I like tennis" there is a clear predicator, the verb like, which has two arguments, or which requires two arguments: the entity I and the other entity tennis, where tennis is the object, the argument object of what is being liked, and I is the experiencer or sensor of the verb liking. That is, all predications that are related to verbs such as like, hate, abhor, detest, etc. That is, all predicators that express some kind of emotion will require some kind of sensor that is an argument, typically functioning, of course, as adjective in this sentence. I'm saying typically because there might be other manifestations, not with the verb like, but with other verbs like, such as tennis interests me, or I am interested in tennis. As we will see, and as we saw last class, okay, such predications such as liking, disliking, detesting, abhorring, hating something may be realized by means of either verbs or other categories such as adjectives. That's why I'm saying, if I'm keen on tennis, or I am interested in tennis, or tennis interests me. A very weird sentence, I know, but it's possible in the language to say X interests me, where me will be the object of the sentence, but still the experiencer of the process of liking. So we have three elements. Again, predicator, like, argument or participants, I and tennis. And we said that these participants have theta roles. I will be the experiencer, and tennis will be the theme, the thing that we like, the object of our liking. Therefore, like is a verb that has two arguments, 1, 2. That is, it's called, or is known in the literature as, a two-place predicate, with again an experiencer and a theme argument or arguments. Now, it is interesting to note that apart from the fact that our UG, our universal grammar, our theory of language at a cognitive level, right, that is finally realized phonologically, of course, but at a cognitive level, we said there are principles and parameters, and we will see that there are also different criteria and conditions that will arise as we move on, and we will, formalize our theory of language. But one such criterion is the criterion known as the Theta or Theta Criterion. What does the Theta Criterion state? The Theta Criterion states that each argument bears one and only one theta role, and that each theta role should be assigned to one argument only. But let us look at the Theta Criterion. So each argument bears only one theta role. That is, if we go back to our sentence, I like tennis, we will find that I bears only one theta role, experiencer, and that tennis bears only one theta role, theme. On the other hand, there is this other statement that is part of the Theta Criterion that states that each theta role is assigned to one and only one argument. That is, if we have assigned the theta role experiencer to the subject in I like tennis, or if we have assigned the theta role theme to the object tennis, we cannot assign these theta roles to any other arguments. That is, we can't have like I like tennis, I theme tennis theme, or we can't have like I experiencer and tennis experiencer. That is, each theta role is assigned to one argument only, and I know that sounds all very obvious. Well, it's so obvious that we should probably, state it in black and white and go like Theta Criterion, each argument bears only one and only one theta role, and each theta role is assigned to only one argument. So that's basically what the Theta Criterion states. Last class we also said that there are theta role assigners and theta role assignees, and let us quickly review that. What we stated is that, again, in our sentence I like tennis, the predicate, the verb or predicate, predicator, is a theta role assigner. That is the entity that will assign theta roles to its arguments. And the arguments, I and tennis, will be called the theta role assignees, because these are the entities that receive a theta role. So far we get the following picture. I like tennis, two arguments, two theta roles. Each theta role can be applied only once, and each argument should receive a theta role according to the Theta Criterion. Now let us analyze this other sentence. I play tennis, not I like tennis, I play tennis. So in I play tennis, we have a verb predicator, play, and we have also two entities, argument I, argument tennis. So again, it's a two-place verb or predicator. There's one that has two arguments. However, we will assign different theta roles. At least it's going to be different for the subject. The subject is going to have or bear the theta role agent, because now, unlike I like tennis, I am not experiencing some kind of emotion, I am performing an action. So I will be called agent or actor. It is typically called agent, so let's call it agent. The agent, the entity that performs the action of playing tennis, where tennis is again the theme. But still, we have two-place predicates. Question: can we have predicates that have only one argument, or 3 arguments, or 0 arguments? There is no arguments whatsoever. The answer to that question is yes. And what we will say is the following. Look, you get sentences such as she laughed. We have only one argument. So laugh is a predicator that will have only one argument, she, the agent, that is the performer of the action of laughing. So laugh is a one-place verb with only one argument, which will bear, of course, only one theta role agent. Okay, so we got 1-place verbs, we have 2-place verbs, and we have 3-place verbs. And here we will think of sentences such as roll in I rolled the ball down the hill. By the way, I got this sentence from Radford 1999, and we will give you the reference to some of the books that we have consulted when preparing our class, so that you can check them in case you wanna, of course, expand on what we're saying here. So roll in I rolled the ball down the hill will have 3 arguments. The agent I, that's the first argument, because I performed the action of causing the ball to roll down the hill. So in I rolled the ball down the hill, we have an argument I, that is the agent, and we have the ball, that is the argument theme that undergoes the action of rolling as an effect of the action performed by I, the agent. The ball will be the theme of our sentence. So we have I, agent, rolled, predicator, the ball, argument, theme, and down the hill there is the destination or the direction in which the ball performed the action of rolling, or underwent rather the action of rolling, will be the goal. So that's going to be called goal locative, some sort of location, basically. Let's call it goal. That's the most common term. So we have a 3-place predicate, predicator rolled with agent, theme, and goal arguments. A 3-place predicate. Last but not least, we got sentences such as it's raining. So when it's raining, we have a verb and we have a subject, it. But it is not an argument. It only has representation at the phonological level, and but there is no logical entity that we can think of that is raining. So unlike she laughed, we can't go like the weather rained. All we're doing is complying with a regulation, let us put it this way. In fact, there is a parameter. We talked about parameters in some other class. I can't remember exactly which class that was. I think it was our second class, so I would like you to check on that just in case. But we'll go for the following. Some languages, this is called the subject parameter. Some languages can keep their subjects. They need to have an explicit subject, that is, by explicit we mean phonologically realized. That is the case of English. In Spanish we will have tacit subjects, that is, we do not need to phonologically or orthographically realize, that is, utter, write the subject of our sentences in Spanish, and we can say things like llovió. If we translate that into English, it would be something like rained. So rained in Spanish equals it rained, or it has rained. So we have no arguments. So you might be thinking, what is it doing there? It's raining, so it is a subject. Yes, it is, but it's only a subject at the level of phonology. It's not a subject at the level of semantics. It has no logical form representation. It doesn't refer to anything. So we will call the verb rain and other weather verbs. These are called weather verbs because they refer to the weather, right? Like it's raining, like it's snowing, etc. as zero argument predicates. So zero argument predicates or zero place predicates. So let us review the number of arguments that predicates can have. Number 1, 0 argument. It's raining. Number 2, 1 argument. She laughed. She shuffled. She walked. These are all one place predicates. 2 place predicates. I like tennis. I play tennis. I detest her. I can't see that. Again, so 2 arguments for 1 predicate. We have 3 place predicates. I rolled the ball down the hill. So 1 external argument, the subject, the agent, the ball, theme, down the hill, goal. And also the 3 place predicate structure is very common with verbs of giving, where in traditional grammar we talk about verbs that have a do, a direct object, and an indirect object. So think of sentences such as I gave Mary the book. In sentences such as I gave Mary the book, we have an agent I, Mary, the goal or recipient of the theme book. We have 3 elements: I, agent, Mary, recipient, goal, and the book will be the theme. That is the thing that has been received by Mary. That is why Mary is the receiver or recipient. So this is our second class on theta role assignment and argument structure. I hope we have succeeded in accounting for what we mean by argument structure, theta role assignment, and today we have expanded a little on the number of arguments that predicates can have on the one hand, and on the other hand we have stated that there is a very important criterion, that is the Theta Criterion, which will state that all arguments should bear 1 theta role and that each theta role can be assigned to 1 argument only. Well, we hope that you have enjoyed our class. More importantly, we hope that this class will be useful for your understanding of the way in which we derive sentences and the way in which LF is processed, manipulated, we can say, molded by the syntax, so that we can have our phonological or orthographic written manifestations of language. If you have enjoyed our class, please like it, subscribe to our channel, and share it with fellow students and colleagues. Thanks a lot for listening. We will be seeing you soon. Next class we will be talking about the DP hypothesis. There is a hypothesis that states that nominals are DPs, determiner phrases. Okay, see you next class.